Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I have two boxes of Salomon something. Let's find out what it is. This is a very important review, much requested. Let's see what's in the first box. It is one of the best hiking boots out there, full-size hiking boots. Salomon Quest 4D3 GTX. I absolutely love this boot. Currently you can find it probably around $230, $240. They still have them on Amazon. The link is in the description below. Let's see what we have in another box, because in another box we have one of the best full-size hiking boots out there, Quest 4. Yes, and it's a little bit of confusing. I don't know why Salomon did that, but they decided to call it 4 and leave the 4D. So this is actually the newer version of the good old Quest 4D3. So this is a all new Quest 4D4. Yes, and today we are doing the comparison between the two. Let me try to find the right foot, which is this one, and which is not actually the right foot, it's actually the left foot. Let me make sure that I have them both correct. There we go. All right, to make sense. And today we're gonna compare these two and see if Salomon actually did improve their newer 4D Quest 4D version. Now I have done recently, a couple of weeks ago, I have done an Ultra Salomon X Ultra GTX, right? Version 3 versus version 4. And at the end of the review, I said that I kind of do prefer the older version a little bit better. Is it the case with these two? Well, let's find out. As some of you already know, this is not just your regular boot review. This review is specifically for my Ultimate Survival Boots section. Yes, so basically, if something bad happened and you were wearing one of these boots, and you had to run and you had to walk for extended periods of time, you had to wear these boots without taking them off for weeks, which one would be better? Which one is more comfortable? Which one gives you better traction, better protection, and overall just a better boot? Well, how do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's begin. And I actually think I got the wrong foot, so let me exchange this one for this one. There we go. Now this makes a little bit more sense. How do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's begin with the criteria number 1. Of course, one of the more important ones, comfort level. And in order to test the comfort level, I usually do a 3-mile run and then a 5-mile walk without stopping. With these boots, I did a 3-mile run in one, 3-mile run in another one, and then a 5-mile walk and a 5-mile walk in another one. So it was a lot of running, a lot of walking. Wasn't an easy day, but I survived. Yes, and let's see. Let's start with all the factors that contribute to the comfort level. Well, first of all, of course, we have our outsole. The outsole is fairly stiff on the version 3. It is fairly stiff on the version 4, so there isn't really much change whenever it comes to the outsole. Now, it does not really take away from the comfort, but I have to say it is a little bit harder to run because of the stiff outsole. It does contribute to the protection, but because it is stiffer, I know full-size boot, whenever it comes especially hiking, backpacking boot, it's not something that you would typically run in, but nevertheless, because it's the ultimate survival boot, I still do the testing so that I can make a fair judgment for all of them. There's another factor. Let's see if there are any differences whenever it comes to the weight. So first, we're gonna do the version 3. And as you can see, 23.6. Now, whenever it comes to the weight, I usually, in order to give you kind of a reference number to look at, I usually say that if you want something that feels lightweight, that does not really take away from the comfort level, by giving you fatigue from the weight on your feet, you are trying to find something that is under 20 ounces. The more under 20 ounce it is, obviously the lighter it feels, the better, the more comfortable it is going to be. Now, 23 is not really that much over 20, so it's not that bad, especially considering all the protection that you're getting in this boot. All right, so it's not bad for a full-size boot with the GTX with waterproofing. But let's see if the version 4 is any better. Let's find out. Version 4. And it is, yes, 22, pretty much even. So Salomon, both of these, by the way, are size 10. Salomon definitely did improve whenever it comes to the weight. So well done, number 4. Definitely better whenever it comes to the weight, lighter. So you will feel a little bit more comfort, especially whenever it comes to long distances with these 4. Let's talk about the inner sole now, because inner sole, both of these, we do have our favorite Ortholite, which is a very, very good inner sole. Besides giving you decent amount of cushioning, it also gives you the antibacterial qualities. It's kind of a wickering technology, moisture wickering fabric that is used here. Pretty good on long distances, definitely helps. Now this is from the 3. Let's see if the 4 is any different. Let's see if they made any upgrades to the 4. And no, they didn't, except changing the color from green to red. It's the same exact inner sole. The cushioning is exactly the same. The heel bed is exactly the same. Arch support exactly the same. So no differences at all. And once you remove the inner sole, there is nothing else. It goes straight into the harder rubber. I honestly do prefer having that additional extra blue layer that Salomon sometimes put in some of their boots. And it's not here. It's not here in both of them. So exactly the same, absolutely no difference there. Now overall, whenever it comes to the fit, you do feel just a tiny little bit more spacious in the newer version. So if you do prefer, if you didn't like typical Salomon's tight fit, which doesn't mean it's small, it just fits nice and snug on your foot, you probably gonna appreciate 4 a little bit better. Again, absolutely minuscule difference, but still just a little bit a wider fit. So you are probably wondering if the inner sole is the same, if the outsole is practically the same stiff, whatever, all the dimensions are practically the same. How is that number 4 is lighter than the number 3? Well, I will tell you, and you probably will notice the difference by looking at the boot just like that. Yes, it is one of the things that kind of does contribute to the comfort level, and Salomon decided to save on it. It's the padding. As you can see, there is much more padding in the shaft at the number 3 version, and in the tongue it is much less in the shaft in the number 4 version. So you do get a little bit more comfort from the number 3 in the shaft and in the tongue, you know, your shins and stuff like that, your ankles, compared to the number 4. This is where Salomon decided to sacrifice to save on weight. So if you do prefer more padding but don't mind a little bit extra weight, number 3. If you want to save as much possible on the weight, number 4. Overall, whenever it comes to the comfort level, both are absolutely phenomenal. All right, I absolutely love the comfort level of both of these boots. But you know, whenever it comes to the weight, whenever it comes to the padding, this is probably going to be one of them. And fitment, just a tiny little bit. This is going to be your decision-making factor. Let's move on to the criteria number 2 now, proofing and protection. Now, both of these boots are GTX waterproof. GTX Gore-Tex, one of the best waterproofing technologies. Most of the experienced hikers, outdoors enthusiasts, they prefer GTX in their clothing and in their boots because it is reliable, it is breathable, and it is lightweight. Yes, both of these do feature. The only downside of that is it's a little bit on the expensive side, all right? So whenever you have a GTX boot, you're probably looking at a little bit pricier price tag, all right? Now, whenever it comes to the protection, obviously you have a very similar protection Conto grip rubber that is used on the outsoles, all right? So you have that on both of the boots. You do have practically identical toe cap here on the version 3 and the version 4, which is very, very similar and gives you practically identical level of protection. Now on the sides, there is kind of an extra fabric going on here with this active support system, which we will talk a little bit later. And same thing here in the shaft, although you do get a little bit more with the puffier padding here in the 3. Same thing in the heel. Same similar support on both of these boots. So not really much difference whenever it comes to the proofing, not really much difference whenever it comes to the protection. The only thing that I want to double check whenever it comes to the proofing is to make sure that we have the same clearance whenever it comes to the waterproofing. And in 3 we have about 6 inches from the gusseting on the tongue. Very good, really good. 6 inches is really, really good. And we do have about 6 inches in the version 4. So, yep, identical proofing definitely there as well. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Now, quality-wise, both of these are obviously Salomon's. Salomon is honestly probably one of the best brands whenever it comes to your hiking boots, trail running shoes. I mean, they know what they're doing. They've been around forever. And if you check, I mean, these are obviously the newer on Amazon, so they're not gonna have a lot of reviews. But if you check the version 4, I mean the version 3 on Amazon, they have plenty of positive reviews, so people definitely do like these boots a lot. All right, and I did the review separately on version 4D3, all right, Quest 4D3. So if you want to check it out, I'll put the link in the description below as well. Now, whenever it comes to the design features, usually here I talk about the lacing system, and lacing system here is practically identical. And I mean, it's fantastic. It's awesome. It's very easy to tighten and take off these boots because the lacing system is so good. It does have the locking hooks, which are located exactly in the same spot on both of the versions of the boots. They are very, very good. Basically what it does is whenever you're tightening the boot, you can tighten 2 sections separately thanks to this locking mechanism on this open hook right here. All right, and then of course you have your 2 pairs of your open hooks, which are very good, especially for hiking situations if you do need to release the tension in the shaft quicker. For example, if you're going up the hill and you want to do that. Now, the only difference between the two would be that you probably already noticed the active support thing that Salomon implemented in their version 4. This is their newer sort of technology that they started implementing in their newer models. Here they have them on both sides. Basically, it's just this piece of fabric that kind of wraps around, giving you a bigger loop here to kind of hold your foot in place. Honestly, I have to be honest, I didn't really notice that much of a difference or support from having this compared to the regular ones. So I would say not a big deal. All right, I'm good for trying Salomon, but I don't know. It just does not give me really anything extra out there. Don't get me wrong, both of these are phenomenal, both of the systems, but this really not an upgrade to me. All right, it's just say that. But let's move on to the criteria number 4 now. Outsole, traction, and stability. Now, this is another thing that really nothing much has changed. Very, very similar outsole design pattern. As you can see, just really just couple of grooves a little bit different. Now, don't get me wrong, both of these are absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love it. Just a little bit more aggression here in the heel on the newer version on the 4, and the ridges I do like them on the version 4 a little bit more than on the version 3. And as you can see, there's an extra set of grooves going in the number 4, which I think is better. So overall, maybe just a tiny little bit better outsole, just a little bit more improved outsole on the 4 compared to the 3. But again, don't get me wrong, both of these are absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of the best outsoles out there. Now, whenever it comes to testing, if this is the first review that you're watching on this channel. Whenever it comes to testing the outsole, whenever I do my walk and my run, I do it on a variety of different surfaces. I start with the older asphalt, going to newer tarmac, and then some dry sand, wet sand, some dry grass, wet grass, trail surface, obviously, some rocky road, and then marble and tile, yes. And this outsole performs amazing on literally everything you throw at it. It's just great because it has a great balance of aggression and at the same time flatness. The simplicity of the grooves is just great. But done with the outsole, let's move on to the criteria number 5 really quickly now, the temperature. Temperature wise, there is really not much to talk about. These are not really designed to be winter boots. You can use them as winter boots because they are waterproof if you implement some insulated socks, because they don't have any kind of insulation. But if you do implement some insulated socks, you can get away with some colder temperatures. Now, the coldest I tested them in were probably about 20 degrees, so not that cold. Cold for me, a Florida person. But if you do have experience with these boots in colder temperatures, hey, let everybody know in the comments below how cold it went so that everybody has an idea what they can expect. But whenever it comes to hot temperatures, I would say very, very good. Overall, breathable, didn't really overheat or anything like that whenever I was doing my run. So great 3-season boot, I would say, and maybe possibly winter if you implement some insulated socks. Let's move on to the criteria number 6 now. Now it's the sizing. Like I said, the fitment is a little bit of a different fitment whenever it comes to the newer version. It's a little bit free. It's a little bit wider fitment compared to the older version. Not a lot. It's very, very hard to notice unless you're wearing one on one foot and another one on another foot to kind of give you that kind of to notice that difference. Really, really minuscule difference. But still, keep that in mind if you prefer a little bit of a wider fit. But both of them are definitely true to the size. No problems there. Usually here I recommend getting half a size bigger just to get a little bit of kind of a room here at the front of the toe box. Definitely helps with your hiking, prevents you from unnecessary fatigue. So if you're wearing, your normal shoe size 9.5, your sneakers, your dress shoes, whatever, you won't get your boots in size 10. But let's move on to the criteria number 7 now, the balance of application. So if one of these was an option for you in your ultimate survival situation, which one would be better? Which one would you choose? Which one would help you survive, right? Honestly, both of these would be, any of this would be a phenomenal version. If there was one boot that I would prefer to have in a survival situation, I would prefer any of this, honestly. They're just both very, very good. They're very comfortable. They provide great amount of protection. The outsole traction stability is phenomenal on both of them. But seems like with the version 4, Salomon did do a little bit, tiny little bit of an improvement whenever it comes to the lightness. So if you prefer a lighter version, this is it right here. Just a tiny little bit, but still a little bit. And if you prefer a little bit of a wider fit, there you go. Now this active support, I can't really say much about it because I didn't really notice any difference from it. I wish I did, but not much. All right, not worth the upgrade. All right, lightness, yes. Fitment, yes. But this, I don't know. So let's move on to the criteria number 8 now. Price. Price-wise, currently, the newer version goes for about $280, $290 on Amazon. The link is in the description below. And the older one you can get for about $220, $230, $240. So, you might have a question. Is it worth the upgrade? Is it worth the extra $40, $50, $60 to get a newer version? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so. If they were the same exact price, I would probably say, yeah, definitely go ahead, get a 4, especially if you prefer a wider fit, if you prefer a little bit lighter boot. But for $40, $50, $60 extra dollars, I really don't see that much of a difference. So if you can find a boot that you are looking for, the Quest 4D3 in the color that you want, for a good price, about $200, $220, $230, $240 maybe even, is still a significant savings compared to the version 4. So I would say, you know what, you're really not losing anything, missing out anything in the newer version. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think? Which one would be your choice? Would you go with an older version 3, or would you prefer a newer version 4? Do you think the upgrades and the little changes are worth paying the extra dollar for the version 4? Let me know in the comments below. Definitely interested in your opinions. If you have any requests for reviews or similar comparison videos, again, drop them in the comments below, those requests, and I always look out for them and put them on my to-do list. If I come across the stuff, I do that as a priority. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Firearms of America, and I'll see you guys in the next video.